Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I just want to have a little chat with you guys and talk about a few things that I think are necessary to talk about. And yeah, as you can see in the title, I'm asking if Timo, Werner, and Kai Havertz are flops. But more than that, I want to dive into Chelsea's history a bit of football players and how we've bought football players, and when they've arrived at the bridge, things haven't worked out. It hasn't been that great. Two in particular, I want to mention Fernando Torres, and I also want to talk about my guy, Andrei Shevchenko. Big fan of Andrei Shevchenko. So yeah, let's get right into it. Chelsea went on a rampage and we spent about 200 million on new talent, new acquisitions, starting off with Hakim Ziyech and ending with Edouard Mendy. I mean, most of the players have been successful, but when we bought Timo Werner and we bought Kai Havertz, we expected something. We were waiting for something magical because of what we saw in Germany. So immediately we thought, okay, they're going to come in, especially I think for Timo Werner. We thought, I personally thought he's going to come in, he's going to be able to compete with the likes of Mohamed Salah and Jamie Vardy and all these top strikers. And yeah, obviously it started off well, it started off great. Timo is looking great, but his form has dipped. And with Kai Havertz, we still haven't seen the best of Kai, and we're still waiting. But my focus of this conversation is to talk about player price tags. Does a price tag have an impact on a player? And I think it does. I think, again, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Would love to hear from you guys. But I definitely think that a price tag has a big impact on players because of the pressure. I think the pressure comes from the club itself because they've spent so much money, and because the fans are so excited by such a big price. Usually big players come with big price tags. So we're always excited about the prospects of certain players coming into the club. If we look at Fernando Torres, who came from Liverpool, 50 million signing, I think we were all super excited after seeing what he was capable of doing at Liverpool. And him coming into Chelsea for 50 million, we thought it was a good price. It was right enough for the likes of to claw him away from Liverpool with the seasons he was having. So it made sense, but unfortunately he didn't quite reach the heights that we expected him to reach. And of course, we all remember the amazing goal he scored against Barcelona. I think that was probably the highlight of his career at Chelsea. But I think it's important to note that I think part of the issues that, I mean, I'm sure Fernando Torres had many issues at Chelsea, but part of the big ones were the fact that he, the 50 million price tag, and I think at that time he was our fourth biggest purchase, and I think the price tag and the pressure put on the player made it so hard for him to excel, to feel free, because he had to come in straight away and hit the ground running. He didn't have the excuse of being in a new league. He did not have the excuse of coming into a new country. He was living in England for a while now. He played for Liverpool a few seasons. He was dominating the league, and then it went horribly wrong. On the other hand, we have Andrei Shevchenko, who came in from AC Milan for 30 mil. And again, I think part of him coming to Chelsea wasn't down to a need by Jose Mourinho, but a want that Abramovich had to have Andre play at Chelsea. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. Also, he made about 77 appearances and scored 22 goals. and had 11 assists, I think it was. And it's just, he wasn't looking at his best. Moving on to Timo and Kai. I think with Kai Havertz, because of his position, we understand that he's not necessarily scoring goals, but he needs to be able to create. I think it's going to take time for him to get into those positions and excel. I think getting comfortable with the league is a factor. Also, he's come back from coronavirus, and his symptoms were pretty hefty. So it's important for us to give him the time that he needs. But in the reality of things, he needs to pick up really quickly. Because of the standard of Chelsea Football Club, he needs to be able to get to the point where he's at least showing some resemblance of what we saw at Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, if you look at the likes of Ziyech, Ziyech hasn't been like, he hasn't, just exploded onto the scene. It's a gradual thing, and it's the same with Timo Werner. It's a gradual thing, and we understand that, but we need to see something to be able to say, okay, this boy is gonna do great things at Chelsea. I do not doubt Kai Havertz. I don't think he's a flop, to answer the video's question, but I just think that it's important for him to show the confidence that he had, show the confidence that 17.2 million comes with, right? You are the wonder kid. You are the next big thing, so you need to act like it. Sometimes it's about being a bit more cocky or a bit more full of yourself to be able. I mean, if we take a prime example of Cristiano Ronaldo, there's a video that's now a meme where I think a reporter is showing him something that someone said about him, and he's like,
someone's he don't like me, but because maybe I'm too good. I don't know why.
And it's kind of that kind of attitude that I think Kai Havertz is missing. I'm not saying that he needs to be like Cristiano Ronaldo, but I think he needs to have that on the pitch. He needs to show that, like, I'm worth it. I'm worth 72 million, and it's important for us to see that. And then we move on to my guy, Timo Werner. I almost said Timo Havertz. I think Timo needs... Again, I think it is a confidence thing, but he's also very unlucky. I think he's hit the post more than any player in the Premier League this season, and we need to be able to get around Timo, especially on social media and stuff. Luckily I've seen a lot of like Chelsea fans, support him, while rival fans will say, oh, he's the next Fernando Torres, he's not as good, and all of these things. But Chelsea fans are getting behind him, and that's really impressive, and that's something that he needs. But I think the confidence needs to get back. I was looking at a stat recently that showed the goal droughts that German players have had after the Spain game, and I've always said, even on this channel before, that I think that match really impacted Timo Werner and made him lose a bit of his confidence. But the good thing with Timo Werner is he's a hard worker. He's always running. So he's always creating problems, whether he means to or it's a mistake, like the second goal Tammy scored, or the first goal Tammy scored against West Ham. He's always there. He's always doing something. And I think the goals will come, and we need to be behind him. And I think, I definitely think he will score against Arsenal, but that we'll see. We'll talk about that in the next video. But yeah, so that's important for Timo to get his confidence back, and I'm sure he will. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where you have to keep trying, and he's going to keep trying, and he's going to keep missing, and things are still going to go wrong for him, but eventually he's going to find his place. And for someone like him to be so honest and say, I didn't realize that the Premier League was this physical, the defenders were so big, and it's such a problem for me, it's a good thing, because in order to fix a problem, you need to know that you have one. So I'm very happy with Timo Werner, and I think that, you know, things are they can only get better from here on. And to the question, are they flopping? I don't think so. I think Kai Havertz, after, you know, when we get into the latter part of this season, I think he's going to start picking up. I think at some point he's going to start growing in confidence and be ready to show off his skills. I still think that a big problem with Kai Havertz is the positioning, because in Bayer Leverkusen he played more of like a 9.5, if that's possible, a 9.5 or a 9. So I think the system still needs to adapt to. He's adapting to the country. Luckily, he has his boy Timo Werner right next to him, and Timo's gonna come through. I'm not worried about Timo. I'm seeing a lot of rival fans like cracking jokes and saying that he's like I said, he's the next Fernando Torres. But I don't think so. I think the difference between Timo Werner, Shevchenko, and Fernando Torres or Sean Wright Phillips, or, you know, those players that we consider as flops at Chelsea, is his work rate. His work rate is far and miles ahead above those players. He's always in the right positions. He's always with the ball. He goes deep to find the ball, and we see it in every game. All he's missing is the finish, and I think it's a learning curve, and it's going to come. He was able to do it at Leipzig. I'm sure he'll be able to come through at Chelsea. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell again. Don't ring the bell, but ring the bell. Also, importantly, we've reached 500 subscribers, so that's good, I guess. So please feel free to subscribe and let your boys know, or your girls know, or whatever it is, and let's grow the channel. I'm looking to get, maybe before January, maybe get up to 600 or 550. Let's see how it goes. And also, a lot of you are watching without subscribing. Please feel free to subscribe, and I will see you for the match preview for Arsenal this weekend. And yeah, have a good one. Merry Christmas. Peace.